Today I'm going to show you how to create a simple owl painting. If you're new to my channel, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and be sure to check out my other videos. I have so many super fun art tutorials on this channel. I recommend orienting your paper horizontally, not vertically. I'm using 11 by 14 inch multimedia paper. I'm taping my paper down using painter's tape, but you don't need to do this unless you want to. I recommend doing a sketch using pencil first, but I'm going to demonstrate using Sharpie so that you can see it better. I'm drawing a large oval on the right side of my paper. I'm doing this with very light pencil marks so that I can easily erase and adjust the size if necessary. I'm using this oval to guide my drawing. Starting on the right side, I'm tracing over part of the oval and then adding a point at the top. After I make this point, I'm drawing a slightly concave line across the top of the head. See how this line curves and dips inwards? Then on the left side, I'm adding another point at the top. And from there, I'm simply tracing around the rest of my oval. I'm drawing two very large circles for eyes. I'm drawing a smaller circle inside the eyeball. This will be the pupil. I like to fill in the pupil with a Sharpie because it's easy. See how I leave a little white circle in the center of the pupil? This makes the eye look more lifelike. For the beak, I'm drawing an upside down V between the eyes. Then I'm attaching a longer V on the bottom. Now I'm adding a half circle wing on the left and right side of the body. I'm drawing a wavy line across the chest. I'd like to add a full moon in the background, so I'm drawing a large circle behind the owl on the left. Now I'm ready to start painting. I want it to look like nighttime, so I'm mixing blue with a touch of black and white paint to create a midnight blue color. I'm filling in a larger surface here, so I'm using a large 1-inch flat brush to do this. Notice how I'm using gentle back and forth brush strokes. I'm using acrylic paint for this project. If you don't have acrylic paint, you could use tempera paint or watercolor or markers instead. When you're done using this brush to fill in the background, please be sure to either wash your brush or stick your brush in water right away so that it does not dry out. Now I'm going to switch to a smaller size 4 round brush, but you can use whatever brush works well for you. I'm using a mixture of orange and white paint to paint the top of the head, but you can use whatever colors you want. I'm mixing pink and white paint, and I'm using this color to fill in the bottom half of the owl. Now I'm mixing yellow and green and adding this color to the wings. I want the eyes to be a pale yellowish green, so I'm adding yellow to my palette and then mixing in a touch of green. I love that color. When you do this part, be sure to use the teeniest, tiniest brush that you have. I'm painting the beak in with yellow, but again, feel free to use whatever colors you want on your owl. Next, I'm adding some white to that yellow and using this color to paint the full moon. And now I'm mixing brown and white and painting a tree branch that the owl is sitting on. Notice how the branch is touching the bottom edge of the owl. I'm adding some dark brown to the bottom edge of the tree branch to make it look a bit more three-dimensional. Next, I'm grabbing a tiny brush and some white paint. I'm making tiny circles and tiny dots all around the background. Notice how my stars are all different sizes because some stars in the sky appear bigger and brighter than other stars. Also, be sure to paint your stars in clusters. We don't want them to be perfectly spaced apart because this would look too uniform and kind of unnatural.
As a final touch, I'm going to add some white paint onto the surface of the moon. I'm also taking the tiniest brush I have and adding a streak of white paint across the top edge of the branch. This will look like moonlight reflecting off the top of the branch. Once you're all finished painting, you can outline your painting using black paint, using a very tiny brush. Or, like me, you can wait for your painting to dry completely and then trace over it using a black Sharpie. See how I'm making my line thicker on the bottom of the owl? This looks like a shadow. Remember, if you're using Sharpie marker for this part, your paint must be completely dry first, otherwise you'll ruin the Sharpie. Unless you're using a hairdryer to dry your painting, you should probably let your paint dry overnight before using the Sharpie. At the very end, I also decided to add some eyebrows to make my owl more expressive. You might also add some eyelashes to your owl or any other fun details that you'd like to include. I hope you love how it turns out. Please support my work by liking this video, leaving a comment below, and subscribing to my channel, Rainbow Parrot Art.